Music, industry talk, stories, equipment and more. We are Crossfader and this is off the record. Off the record. Off the record.
Hello gang, welcome back to this week's Off the Record. And we were just saying this potentially might be the last one of the year. We might have a guest in next week. I won't say anything, but might have a guest, might not. But if not, it will be the last one of the year. Woo!
I know, another year done. I mean,
Yeah.
this podcast has been going for years now, hasn't it?
Just keep trundling over. What,
We're
what episode? Let me have a look at what episode we're on here. I think it's 194. Oh, I can't
No
remember.
way.
Oh, here we go.
I don't
Episode
think it's
194.
It can't be. I'm sure we were on 100 not long ago.
Oh, no, sorry. It's not 194 at all. 100.
Maybe it feels like episode 194.
This is 2025. 122, this is.
Still good going.
It is still good going.
I think this is the most consistent year we've been.
Yeah.
Previous years, it was very ad hoc. We've kind of tried to be as consistent as possible this year.
Yeah. It is cold in the studio. We just sat down and we're like, ooh.
Do you want to freestyle? I'll go
December.
put that heating on.
No, we could. We're England, isn't it? I feel like we said it last week a lot, but, thank you for sticking with the podcast like all through this year. We brought you some exciting guests and hopefully we've just helped you and, podcasts, for me, are like part of my daily routine. So you sort of, if you're driving to work or you're at the gym or you're at work, working from home, you put a podcast on like a set time of the week, right?
Yeah.
And I have my ones like on a Thursday. I listen to like Stephen Bartlett or something, and I listen to a fun one on a weekend.
Yeah.
But I have a very similar rhythm, so that's the reason we try and maintain it, because I know people like a routine.
Yeah, and also thanks to those that have reached out. I know Liv has mentioned quite a few times in customer service. People that have been speaking to her over email and said, "Oh, I love the podcast. Thanks so much." And she always passes that message on. So thanks to for just mentioning that you're a listener and stuff, and in the customer service as well. It does, we hear from her a lot about how a lot of people enjoy the podcast, and we're glad you enjoy it. It's quite cathartic for us as well, isn't it? We get to talk about the industry, about gear, not as programmed as when we're making these videos for YouTube and stuff. We can just be a bit more open, and it's off the record.
And I feel like it has evolved. Like we switched the channel over to its own dedicated channel, and from that, I still feel like it's evolved even further. I feel like where this podcast has been a lot about teach like a lot of tips on how to DJ and things like that, where I think we've talked about a bit more broader DJ industry, and that comes from culture and you guys responding in comments, Liv telling us what you're emailing us in, getting guests on and having chats with guests from all different parts of the world, like Zoe London, Rob, James Hype, Tool Room.
It all plays a part of it, right?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the future today, aren't we? But it's about the journey,
Yeah.
There's so many parts to a DJ's journey and so many options and avenues and things to think about beyond just how to mix track A and B together, or what equipment should I buy. These are all things we'd love to cover on, the channels that we've got, the main channel in particular, but this is a really good way to kind of think about how that plays into the wider journey of a DJ and the opportunities that a DJ might face, or hurdles, or experiences that they might face, and draw from our own experiences to provide some value, hopefully. So I hope we've done that this year.
Yeah, and I think we do take like a lot of responsibility in trying to bring to you what is happening. We all in the office have such different tastes in what we like about the DJ industry. Yeah. We all just want to bring the attention on what is happening, and a lot of the stuff, we talked, an episode went viral about, nightclubs closing and things, and we're not trying to shock or scare. There are tactics in media to try and get you to watch this podcast, right? We have to give a title like that, right? But we're not trying to scare everyone into stop DJing.
Has there been some hate on that?
No, there hasn't. But what I'm trying to get at is this will be all about 2025 and robots taking jobs and things like that. But what we really want to do is really highlight what is going on, because we, as Crossfader, we're full time in this. We source information from so many various places, then we just share that to you of what's happening. It's like we just want to be transparent on what's going on in the world and just try and have a conversation about, is this good, is this bad, or does it even matter kind of thing?
I want to talk about something off the record.
Let's go.
So you recently did a video for DJ Studio, right?
Yes.
And you even said in the video, that this we were so on the fence about in the past when it first came, when it first got released, because it's like, is it taking what is DJing away from us? And you were really, honest about that in the video and open about that. But there's still so much like backlash from like, oh, how are you promoting this? Why are you promoting this? This is just automating what DJs do, etc., etc. And it's very interesting. I think we should talk about it because this is a perfect platform. And we were, when it first came out, in two minds. And when they reached out to us, you were like, well, I need to test this first. I need to just use it myself.
And I used it for a couple of months.
And now you're using it as part of your own DJ
all the time.
career.
All the time.
Not to mix for you, but to make edits and mashups. And you found that unique selling point, that the thing that works for you as a DJ and how it fits into your format as a DJ. So
100%.
I think it's interesting to still see, that there's things that we come across and we are in two minds about, but we always try and test things
all the time.
But it was very interesting to sort of see the comments on that one.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, and you can't, no matter what you say in a video, you go, by the way, we don't think it's this. People go, you think it's this. This is your, stop doing this to the DJ industry. It's like, just try and message it. But yeah, it is. We'll always give honest opinion no matter what it is. But it does play into like the future and 2025. And is this
automation?
Automation,
right? It's a big thing. It's a new sync.
It's kind of there's sort of AI in there. There's sort of AI beat grids, and I think like AI is going to be a big player in 2025. And what is it that AI can do to help you as a DJ? It's not that AI is going to come in and be the DJ and we've got no more DJ and everything like that. It's like some stuff in DJing I just don't like. I'm not a very organized person. I'd love AI to come and just help me organize it, and that's kind of like what DJ Studio can do, which is like if I've got a big set planned or something, I can throw it in DJ Studio and it can put it together for me in an order that sounds good. And like, do I really want? I don't really have time to do that. Do I want to do that? I don't know. Some people like it, some people don't. But what is that next thing in 2025 going to be?
Well, I think the job of a DJ has many tasks.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's certain DJs who, you're saying there that you want it to kind of put a bit of an order together for you.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
There'll be people that are like, no, that is wrong.
I want to do that. And that's fine.
that is sacrilegious to DJing. And but that's fine. And this is where there's different parts to DJing.
100%.
From sourcing music to being curators to actually mixing to technically being able to do stuff to standing out from other DJs by doing stuff maybe in a different way and putting songs together in a different way to reading a crowd. That's definitely something AI is
just
not
something
help
technical.
with.
I've just literally just finished filming a new transitions video for YouTube. And I was trying to do I was trying to think of a wordplay or something like that. And I thought, if I just got ChatGPT on here, I was like, I've got a track of like, what would be a word that could wordplay with this? And it's just like having a companion or something, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
That. It is
and
like
that's something where I want to get to an end result, and I don't want to be stuck in a room for 7 hours thinking of like one transition. So it's something like that may help or may hinder. But again, you'll have people who just love the process and want it to take time. That's fine. There's other people who want a bit of a cheat code, and for me, it's fine as well. As long as we're all agreed that at the end of the day, it's what you do to an audience. It doesn't really matter how we get there, in my opinion, but my very humble opinion. But we will talk about the future of DJing, and we've got a few sort of predictions as sort of Crossfader. We've got, as we approach 2025, it's like the things do change. If you look about this year, how many products have come out, and the shift in, it wasn't long ago that your sort of open format battle DJing was sort of at the forefront with stuff like Red Bull Freestyle. It was only a few years ago. That was
championing what DJing was, right? That was like, to be like the holy grail of DJing, it was almost like you get to the turntablist level and you're like, an amazing DJ because you can do that kind of skill set.
It's
changed.
It wasn't long ago before DJs was blowing up on doing TikToks and short form and getting booked just off doing short form media. That wasn't that long ago, right? So it does just change rapidly, and we've talked about last year of sort of the wrap up of the year, but there are a few things that are going to come to play, and we're going to talk about the sort of shifting nightclub mentality and what that means for the DJ industry. We're going to talk about the rise of the modular DJ and different parts of hardware that is transitioning and going on with live DJ sets. There's increased demand for a community, not just a a clubbing event, but an actual community who get together and put on events. And then DJs being a bit more niche focused, and I think it's the biggest time ever where you can find your own audience very quickly. So we'll talk about nightclub industry, because we had an whole episode on it a couple of weeks ago that did really well, so we won't hang on it too much. But the traditional nightclub scene is evolving, and there's been a big rise in sort of daytime gatherings, brunch parties, day festival, open air events, and they're gaining tractions, and that's all to do with sort of lifestyle shifts and mentality around health and being health conscious.
And that's coming from what people want from an experience with music, right? It's not what the DJs want necessarily.
No. Yeah, you're right.
It's starting from the other side. It's starting with the audience. It's starting with even the venues going, okay, well, this isn't working. How do we change what we do? Oh, that's proving more popular. And like you were saying, the lifestyle changes of just people in general, but, being more conscious around potentially wanting more sleep, wanting it to fit in with parent life or.
And this is, I think, more your commercial clubbing experience. The rave culture is still very strong, very prominent. This is and
that's always happened in the day, in the night, anytime. It's always been kind of quite diverse.
And we want to champion that, and it's more that the midweek, your midweek commercial club attendance is what has. And I'm reading a report from sort of the Financial Times reported in UK nightlife sector observed a downturn in weekday club attendance, especially among students. In response, venues are diversifying to daytime events. And again, student and cost of living, students wanting to focus more on the price of what they're paying to be students now. It wasn't it used to be free, and now it's like ridiculous.
But also goes to the interaction as well. How do people go out and interact with each other? How do they go and meet each other? And that's changing. The whole landscape of people, socializing is changing, and that has a knock-on effect to the music and clubbing industry, or the way that people go out and let their hair down or socialize is changing because of media, because of social media, because of the way that we interact with each other. So that knock-on effect is just something to be aware of, and it's one of those things that is actually a lot of that's out of the DJ's control. And you've just got to be aware of it to know, where do I tap into the shift in the climate of where people are going to be, and like you've mentioned in previous podcasts, it's coffee shops, it's doing other stuff that's maybe a bit more that caters to that social environment a bit more of people meeting up. So
like I say, well, I'll leave some links to the previous podcast where we talk about this for like a whole hour if you want to really dive deep into this. Part number 2 is the rise of the modular DJ. So DJs are sort of increasingly adding modular hardware to sort of enhance their performance. Now, it wasn't, again, things changed really quickly. So remember the days of the SP1 with Serato? That came about, and that was like, I've got... This was before performance pads was a big thing, right? And you had an SP1, and that was performance pads, and like, let's get creative. Then there was an XP2. Before there was Dicers and things like that. They were considered sort of modular, but then...
Before that, this is the issue. Traktor disappeared, so the modular thing lost a lot of attention because Traktor were the ones that were the champions in that. It was the DJs. It was your Richie Hortons. It was things like that who had a very much a live setup. And there are still DJs that do that, but there was no one really championing it. And it was so popular 10 years ago, 15 years ago, because people saw DJs using these modular setups, and it became less and less because Traktor stopped sort of like
pushing the DJ push
brand.
More production.
Exactly, So it's like, it was still a very robust software. They still had great hardware, but it just, for new DJs coming through, it was like, Pioneer DJ just had that like dominance, and it's like, this is what we do. We buy a controller, then we move to CDJs, and then this is like the journey of my tech, and you're mentioning about Serato there. That was sort of the other journey that we mentioned about the turntablist side, and you had a few extra add-on features there. But I think the fact that Traktor was sort of in the background for so long, the modular setup started to lose its place in the industry. And I think that's why only recently it's starting to get a resurgence. It's because Traktor are paying attention again.
Well, I think the big splash, I think, was the Fred Again Boiler Room.
Where
it's like, what is he doing?
Yeah, he's not just DJing.
This is for your broad audience of people who aren't interested in DJing. Like, what is that? And how can I do that? Because that looks amazing. I think that was like,
the catalyst.
The catalyst for it. And then all of a sudden, we started to get a wave of emails from you guys of like, oh, do you guys have anything on like DJs 1000?
Which is a product that's been out for 7 or 8 years or something. And it's like a back like Pioneer DJ made a product. It was a bit out there. It was drum, like a production drum pad.
Quiet for a while.
That links into the CDJs, and you can just trigger samples on it, and you can load your samples in, and it all links up with their Pro DJ link. But that product's been sat around for years, and then suddenly everyone's interested in it because they're like, oh, finger drumming's a thing. Like playing parts of songs live is a thing, and that's something that's getting attention. So I need to now learn how to do that. So. Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Fred Again Boiler Room was a huge catalyst. And because he's been everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
For like a few years now. And you can't get away from him being everywhere. So people are looking at that as inspiration and going, oh, well, that's what I aspire to. And what's he using?
And we're having conversation with Native Instruments a minute. And, they've released the Z1 Mark II, right?
Yep.
Which is a modular unit. And they're really sort of back in the game, ready to sort of lean into this new popularity, which is exciting. I went to the Get Closer tour, saw James Hype. He's got a DJs 1000 now, and he used it a lot. And again, it's like all the people there filming and like, what is this? How is he doing this? What is he using for? He's using it on a lot of like build-ups to add snare rolls in where he's got 4 decks going and he's got a snare roll on it. This is like the top level of it.
So this goes to the future of DJing as well. I think this ties into, well, why is this becoming popular again? Why is it that there's some attention around this? And is it because actually with the release of stems a few years ago, we're now able to break tracks down and rebuild them back up in a much cleaner way. Before it was like, this was only really accessible to producers because you've got all your songs and you've got all the parts to your songs and you understand like how to structure music. And so the live modular setup was very much like, if you're already an artist or a producer, like it really works well for you because you understand it. And it was just a big hurdle for DJs. Whereas now, because of stems, there's like a gateway into making edits and remixes and doing stuff on the fly because you can remove those drums easily or remove the melodies, and it's like, okay, I only need to replace one part of this song. It's just some drums. I can trigger a sample or trigger this kind of like pre-planned thing that I'd done if I've just started learning to finger drum, So there's a much a much nicer sort of bridge into it.
It's just more accessible. It does that. And like you said, when we're talking about things moving so fast, I just thought then, I've just done a whole transitions video, and I think I did like 7 transitions. I think used stems on 5 of them, and it was like there wasn't long ago where I couldn't do this, and this would be a nightmare. Like just like you'd have to find a vocal of a track and then put it in, or maybe make your own edit or something. And it was like, and now it feels too easy. It almost feels too, it's like, this transition's too easy to do.
You know what a big hurdle used to be for people is actually like beat gridding acapellas.
Right.
Exactly. Now you just beat grid the song and take everything away. And little things like that will just become overlooked. And that's because of technology. And that's like showing the future. There's things where we're saying about AI, but that's ultimately that's an example there of just something that's happened that's made lives easier. That's not necessarily cheating or anything. It's just it's made lives easier.
No, I agree.
No, it's cool. I definitely think the stems has been that gateway, and I'm hoping it allows DJs to express themselves further with these modular setups and with the ability to remove parts of the songs. I hope it encourages DJs to think about beyond just mixing track A and B. Like, what are all the other things that you could do between track A to track B?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where it opens your mind and your creativity to go, okay, the possibilities are endless. And now, thanks to technology and the tools, it's making it even easier for me to kind of enhance my sets in this way. The Groove 6 came out this year, and that was like Alpha Theta, Pioneer DJ sort of way of going, okay, can we make this playing with music a bit easier for those like more beginner-led DJs where they want to do a bit more than just mix track for track. They want to experiment. What would it sound like if this track was a breaks track or a techno track, swapping the drums out with the touch of a button? I thought there was a really cool integration, a cool way of sort of experimenting with that and not making it too complicated. You just press this button, have some fun, see what it sounds like, and it gets you thinking about that.
100%. Next is like, again, we've talked about it a little bit in previous episodes, but increased demand for community engagement. I think this will just continue to grow. As we mentioned about the shift in sort of maybe nighttime events, a community of people getting together and creating DJ-led focused content and events. And we've talked about like platforms like YouTube are witnessing the emergence of channels where sort of small groups socialize, dance, DJ, create content, and then they've just got this great community. And then off the back of that, what is happening is that community is then able to go to bigger venues and have an audience and be able to then maybe sell tickets or make money from YouTube or both. But there's even like events in like the USA, like there's like it's called Elro Town or something on Brooklyn Mirage. But it's these little small events, boiler room style, where there's people behind the DJ, people in front of the DJ, but there's not thousands of people there. Do you know what I mean? But it's just a really intimate gathering, and I feel like that is where it's going. It's a different experience to clubbing, where you're going out, a couple of your friends, 1,000 people you don't know, and it's like you go in, there's 100 people there, but you know everybody, and it's a bit more fun, engaging. You share a similar experience. You can have really niche events specifically to what you like, and you're not going and having to sort of pick and choose what you're going to.
Again, thanks to social media. So we there's a lot of DJs and people that will shit on social media and what it's doing to the nightlife industry and all of this. But what a social media has allowed to do is for communities to form much easier.
Exactly.
Like before social media, to find your niche and your crowd in your vicinity.
Go to another town.
Yeah, and it was so hard to find. You had to go out, search them down. Then like it was a lot more word of mouth, and it took a lot longer. Now it's like you could just start searching online and finding those communities through social media and quickly create like good, strong niche communities.
Right,
So that is definitely one of the most exciting things going into 2025. I think for DJs is up until this point, there was almost this way of like, if you want to be a DJ, right, you've got to kind of be very open format and then niche down. So it's like you've got to be good at everything. Get like
foot in the door.
That's where the most opportunities are.
Yeah.
Is where you can play a bit of anything and just say yes to everything, which is still going to be the case. Like I'm not saying don't do that, but there's never been a stronger time to be in a niche.
Yep.
Which was always very tricky before as a DJ, especially as a beginner DJ. Like coming in, it's like, well, I can't just play what I want because there's like no events that play this. Whereas now, it's not necessarily about the events; it's about joining these communities, like you say, and being a DJ for a part of a community. And I think you can afford to lean into your niche more than ever, really.
100%. Yeah. The next point we're going to bring up is DJs adopting more niche genres. So. Like you say, you summed it up really well there. It's gone are the days where, like, there is still tremendous value in knowing a lot of music and being very creative and being open format. And especially if you're going into events and private events and weddings and stuff, like that hasn't really changed. That will always be what it is. But it's this sort of like producer DJ, nightlife DJ, festival DJ. I feel like everything is going so much more niche than ever. So where we are now, that's the biggest club where I play at quite a lot is called The Warehouse, and I've got their like flyer for the November, December. So they've got basically, this is like week to week, every Saturday or Friday. They've got Digital Society with Ferry Corson, so it's Ferry Corson's own brand. They've got Soliston, Sam Mitchell, Paul Pearson. The day after, they've got Mall Grab, which is its own. He's like, quite heavy, deep bass music.
Quite techno-y.
Quite techno as well. So again, super, super niche. Then you've got Frankie Rizzardo. Week after that is Clubland 360. Totally different.
Totally different.
You can have over 30s there, over 40s there. You've got like Ultra Beat, Flip and Phil, Big Ange, people like that. And then like the day after, you've got Scream Into Reality. Dubstep pioneer, sort of bass pioneer. Fish 56 Octagon, his own sort of thing, right? He's got his own niche, it's his own clientele. Day before that was Interplanetary Criminal, UK Garage Bass. Crew 2 is like bass line and drum and bass. DOD is like radio, dance, commercial music. So
it's extremely eclectic.
But they're all super niche in their own way, their own sort of way. Do you know what I mean?
And to be honest, I feel like with the way that we consume music now, these niche artists have the ability to become more popular than ever.
But I think so.
Yeah, I think algorithms can help niche artists a lot. And I think, before you'd go out and buy a CD, an album, or a single, and you have to know what the artist is before you go and buy it almost. Whereas now, we get served stuff and go, oh, this is cool. This is similar to what I like. Who's this artist? And you start following them. And then suddenly, some of these niche artists that only have a few thousand listeners on Spotify a month are like, people following them and then going to the shows.
You can sell 1,000 tickets.
Spotify has delivered that artist as part of a wider playlist. So there's that flip side. I think that's what's playing into this, allowing niche music to come to the forefront is partly to do with streaming as well.
It was what James Hype said when
there's a lot wrong with it, but from an artist perspective, I'm not trying to,
James Hype said when he was in here, it's like it's much easier if you fit into a box just for direction and for people to understand what you are. And maybe that's not like idealistic and like in everyone's mind. It's just his opinion. And like, if you're a tech house DJ, it's very simple. There's not a lot of noise that needs to go on in your head, right? It's like, I play tech house, I make tech house. If you like tech house, I'll do it. And that's not for everybody. And that's not necessarily like what DJ might be to you, right? DJ might be to you, you play everything. You've got an unbelievable library of music. You know how to mix with music. That's a different thing. What he's saying is like, from an artist festival headliner, it's very easy if it's like, oh, dubstep, he plays dubstep DJ, like it. So it might just be easy, and you might be thinking about niching down. But I do think that it's never been easy, and I just think you might find success if you want to be artist DJ. It's probably going to be the only way to go in 2025.
But to make money as a DJ and to make a living out of it, you're probably still going to need to be full open format, available to take any gigs, and take those gigs to just get.
And I feel like that
a decent wage.
That hasn't changed, right? You've always you've always been able as an open format DJ to take gigs, to build up an income, a steady income, and then you can work on your thing at the side of it, potentially.
If you want to become an artist, that's sideline, you work on it on the side and not put all your eggs in that basket to start with. To get some work, get some income, get your foot in the door. And a lot of the people you meet along the way, the promoters and things like that, will be the people that might be able to take you to that next level anyway. So you get your foot in the door, you niche down. Think of somebody like Joe LaBelle, who's been on this podcast, who used to be an open format DJ, did all the students, got his reps in, became an amazing DJ, and then he just went, right, I'm just doing hip hop now, that's it. And niche down that way. Still works with all the same promoters, but has blown up and doing his own tours in America and things like that. Do you think the 2025 will be the rise of the collectives or the brands? So it's not just about, because there's so many people that are wanting to be DJs. It's like there's only so much opportunity out there. So, and it's so easy to like get in contact with other DJs in your city. It's like, is there going to be the rise of, let's just all get together, make a brand, and we all DJ as part of a collective, like Girls Don't Sink?
Well, I don't potentially, but what I do see a lot of is not necessarily that happening, but the same big headliners just playing at all the same places. You think about like Sammy Virgin's Planetary Criminal. They're not a group, are they? But they sort of are. They seem to be at every show. So maybe it's like something behind the scenes where they'll only do shows together, or there's sort of an agreement or something, or agents.
I was thinking
together.
More before artist level. I was thinking, okay, as a beginner up and coming DJ, like. Is it? Yeah, maybe. Is it that you just join forces with other DJs and do something together?
Yeah.
And again, going back to using social media, it's probably easier for you to both come together and promote something, a brand that you're both behind, rather than trying to promote yourself as an independent DJ. Like, it's potentially easier to get a couple of you together, and then your reach, is 3 times, 4 times as much. And you can take on different loads, like. And it's Girls Don't Sink with the primary example of like almost like a band, but of DJs. It's like the traditional sense of like bringing people together to create a band. Like these were just mates that came together that were all DJs, and they were like, well, why don't we just all do this as a collective together and create a brand? And they've created an awesome brand. They're playing headlining festivals and doing their own shows, and it just shows like is there something in that? I haven't seen too much of that yet, but I feel like there probably is room for more of that 100%. In 25.
Like I say, just share it. It's when you're doing being a DJ, there's so much to it now. that it just can be overwhelming. And if you can share that burden but with somebody, like, or just having ideas, you're like, what direction should we go to?
Like when you go back to back with another DJ,
you're just free.
It fuels something in you.
Free,
and if you sort of encourage that with other DJs.
Yeah.
And
because you do always feel when you're putting out your own content yourself, you're always comparing yourself to somebody else or trying to be in competition for views of something else. So yeah, I like that idea. One thing that might happen in 2025 is Crossfader second channel. we sort of had a meeting on air last week, didn't we, about us either a third channel or just having this channel with
I
mixes.
think just have the off the record channel.
People seem to be, someone in all capitals put yes to long form mixes. Just to give you background, so we're thinking about using this channel not just as podcast, but having long form mixes, vinyl, not necessarily vinyl, but various pieces of equipment, but just it being more about music, not really about like us teaching how to DJ, education, just being like music discovery, having guests in to do mixes and just talk about music more than anything. And yeah, a lot of DJ DC says on the record, do it.
Nice. I've not seen these.
There was another one, lots of great topics. Good idea for the new podcast. So yeah, it might be that 2025 we sort of explore it because we keep talking about it, don't we?
Yeah. Again, like we do this podcast because it's quite cathartic and we just enjoy chatting about the industry. We do still love music and we do still enjoy DJing,
love music.
So yeah, it'll be another fun thing just for us to do.
The good thing about it in the office is like our taste is ridiculously. Like we don't like the same thing. We all like a completely opposite thing. It's crazy, but like in like probably the best way possible. Because we wouldn't have a broad opinion on DJ industry without loads of different voices.
No, of course,
I know more about Sabrina Carpenter than than I should do from people in the office. So yeah, guys, please again. Please like and subscribe. We just hit 2,000 followers on the new channel, and I think I can't remember how many were on the actual listening audio, but it's grown 73% or something this year. So please do like and subscribe if you are liking it. It does help this podcast dramatically. Thank you. Like I said at the top of the show, we might have a guest for one last one next week. If we don't, have a great Christmas. We are going to play some tunes right now, but if we don't, thank you so much for listening and staying tuned. But yeah, maybe for one last time this year, let's do a bit of add to playlist.
Yeah,
we've got some tunes here. Most of them are SoundCloud. Some might be from DJ Pools, but I'll put the list on Discord for you. And yeah, Jamie's just going to see if we vibe to them and see if these are add to playlist. His first one's called Everybody by Spooky and Geely. Sick names. All right, is this playing?
No.
No?
No. Uh-oh.
Is it not playing? Right, here we go. Audio, Rodecaster Pro.
Technical difficulties.
Oh wait,
live.
What about if I just go to...
Have you turned your laptop speakers up? Oh no, it won't be on that.
It won't be on that. Wait a minute, what is it called? Everybody.
Oh
my God.
Oh, it's okay. So
it's not live, Jamie. We can cut this out, no problem.
Oh yeah.
Right, let me just refresh this and we'll cut it out. Rodecaster Pro, it was playing, wasn't it? Maybe it's just
unplug it, plug it back in.
Yeah. Plug the restart record box or just... Oh no, let me turn...
Is it not playing on anything?
Let me just go back to this. It should be. Right. Go back to this. Rodecaster Pro. Oh my God. Right, we'll try again. Technical difficulties. Right, this first track is called Everybody by Spooky and G. I like them chords.
Ooh, that's got a vibe.
It's the chords, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what makes it.
Yeah.
Not sold on the vocal, but
yeah. Oh,
that's nice. What, does it do anything else in the second drop?
Oh, nice that, isn't it?
So yeah, it's a good like, you kind of get what you need out of it. Wouldn't play the whole track. I'd put a different vocal over maybe.
Might be early doors. Early doors. That is everybody's.
That would
spooky
go in my
G.
playlist. 'Cause
Would it?
I'd be bopping to it. I'd be bopping
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
Check this new.
This
tune
is
out.
one that if we did have a long form mix, I'd just be like, I like it, so I'm going to play it. I think you like this one a bit more. Is it more disco, is it, or not? I've picked the right one. Yeah.
See, this What You Won't Do for Love.
Yeah.
I've got a great
Have you?
vinyl. One on vinyl.
Hello.
I don't know. It's a bit too handbag housey for
Oh,
me.
right, okay, yeah.
I don't know. It sounds a bit too jolly. not quite dark enough. There's nothing wrong with the tune, but it wouldn't go in my playlist.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Right,
unfortunately,
I'll
not. A bit too happy.
I'll go totally opposite, and we'll go proper sort of. All we can describe is like Leeds.
It's gonna be in the
Leeds
playlist
versus
then, isn't
Georgia
it?
Smith. Which is like, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
Don't want to feel you. Don't want to don't want to feel you.
Is it a soul sound?
Literally the opposite of that last tune, isn't it?
This
Don't
is
want you on my mind.
throwback.
My mind. Would I leave? If you were everything.
Class, though, isn't it?
like you summed it up perfectly.
Yeah, yeah.
This is Leeds 15 years ago.
What you did, who you were with.
I've been playing this though.
Have you? Has it been going on?
Yeah.
Do you know what? This
It's the vocal, right?
yeah, I feel like without Georgia Smith, this wouldn't be that
I don't think so.
good.
I also, I wouldn't have even put this with it. If I'd have made this beat, I wouldn't be like, let me put this on. It seems to work though.
There's certain tracks, don't you think, that like you can tell they've been made in like 10 minutes and it's just like an idea that someone's hashed out and thrown out.
Yeah, but they're the
there's
best.
something about it that
They're
just
the
like you
best.
can't help but kind of like it.
Yeah.
And you don't know why, because you're like, I know the production is not that great. on
I
this.
honestly
There's
just love a
nothing.
sparse, really little elements. Maybe like 3
know.
notes in
Yeah,
a.
it's-
Something about that. I just like. Yeah, I just love it. You know, maybe it's because I'm like, oh, I could make that
Yeah.
because I'm not that talented a producer. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
It is
But
weird.
yeah.
There's that fine line between it being like, is that garbage, or is there something in there that's just kind of hooks you?
Yeah. Maybe
I
it's some
think-
like obviously like a lot of R&B songs and stuff. I think it's very easy stuff like Cassie Me and You like da
Yeah.
da 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 da. I'm like, that's easy.
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah.
but yeah,
There's a
there
few
is
notes,
something in
yeah.
it. Yeah, there's whereas like I listen to a Skrillex track and I'll be like, I have no idea how he's made that.
yeah. There's
You know
a
what I
different
mean?
level of
That's what-
producer.
you know what I mean?
Right?
It's like I've got
It's
no
like
idea. I'm
that-
trying to figure
That's
out.
a very full song that's
Yeah.
complete, and then there's a very
Yeah.
like this is like an idea that kind of just serves a purpose and hooks people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Speaking of Skrillex,
I used to love the original of this.
yeah,
I used to play it a lot. Ooh, I like this.
Yeah?
This is a good take on. I was intrigued. Like, how are they
How
going
do
to
you
switch
get-
the drop from what it was to
yeah.
this housey tempo?
because Bangarang is of a time, right?
Yeah.
It's
It's like
you know what
I'm going to
about
scream at you in
Yeah.
3 different ways over
we
and
we
over.
were talking
like-
about how stuff comes back,
Yeah.
and in about 3 years, Bangarang, you'll be like, "This sounds amazing." But right now, it just there's nowhere I would play Bangarang anyway. I just
No.
don't, it's just not of the time, is it?
Keep playing it.
Where
play
I'm
a bit
like,
more. That's really nice.
they've
Done. I like
kept
it.
elements of it,
Yeah.
but you know,
It's a really good nod to the original without like.
2025 did, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bravo on that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
That,
Who's that?
Alboa edit of Bangarang.
Nice. Bravo. I like that. Definitely go in my playlist.
Let's go with this little D&B edit of Sicko Mode.
She's in love with who I am. Back in high school, I used to bust it to the dance. Now I hit the FBO with duffels in my hands. I did half a Zan, 13 hours till I land. Had me out like a light, like a light.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like a light.
Yes.
Through the flight.
Nice.
Not for the night. 767
Again, very simple, but
Yeah. I don't know if it goes with Hardy.
Down the block.
Let me skip.
Jesus Christ. Check. So
Yeah, this is sick. Oi, 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 oi.
When I shoot my shot,
Nice.
Yeah,
Really
nice.
nice. Really nice.
Nice.
Not overdone it for the sake of it. Like,
Nice. Yeah, I can't top that.
Nice.
That is the Vandal on the track D&B edit of Sicko Mode. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this week. If we don't see you again, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Like I say, we might be back next week with a guest, but maybe not. But if we don't see you, thank you so much for this year. Thank you for tuning in, hanging out with us, listening to us talk a lot of nonsense, and hopefully a bit of value. And we can't wait to level up again next year. And yeah, just have a good Christmas, man. Eat loads of stuff.
Yeah,
Drink loads of
enjoy it.
stuff. Have a party with your friends and family. Enjoy Christmas and New Year. And yeah, we'll see you again in 2025. That's mental. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Bye.